What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? And wow, super duper rooper pooper quick video, because today for me is New York Comic Con. I'm supposed to be sleeping right now. I got up a little bit and I actually went to bed early. Wow. And I just, happened to check some things, and all of a sudden this news comes out of what Boogie2988, everyone knows Boogie, if you're on YouTube especially. Boogie said he was at Retropalooza and he was at a Q&A panel, and someone asked him a question about NX, I guess, which is funny because I was actually watching this Q&A panel on the way to work. Obviously it's about like over an hour type thing, so I'm listening to it, and I never got to this point in the Q&A, or else I would have heard this morning. But, I was on the way to work listening to it, didn't get to listen to the whole thing, and then I never got to finish it because other things happened throughout the day. I wanted to go to bed early for Comic-Con and all that stuff. But anyway, Boogie, at this Q&A at Retropalooza, someone asked him a question about the NX. I'm not sure what the question was, but I know what the response was. And basically, so Boogie says that he tried to, not say too much, but he said he talked to two people, I believe, and he said he talked to one guy from Ubisoft, and I forget who the other guy was, but basically they told him that the NX is a home console, and it's going to come with a quote-unquote mobile unit, but not a full-on mobile unit. It's going to be a little something that you could put in your pocket, play mobile phone style. So basically, you could take this mobile unit with you and play a piece of the game. It reminds me of Dreamcast with the memory card, the UMVs, I believe they were called. Basically, the Dreamcast memory cards had a screen on them, and you could plug them into your controller, and when it was plugged in and you were playing a game, it displayed stuff from the game, certain images, but it was like a little digital, like clock, like an old school digital like picture. It wasn't anything crazy, but it was still crazy for the time that you were able to do that. But basically, so just like that Dreamcast VMU, am I saying that? I don't know if I'm saying that right. So you could pop it out of the controller and then take it with you for certain games. So Sonic Adventure had the Chows, I believe they were called. So you could use them in the real game, but then you could take this VMU with you. Fuck, I really need to get to know the name of that again. So you take it with you, and you could, train the Chows and stuff like that. And, obviously when you go back to the real game, you can, put that information in. And when you go to the Chow Garden, that information would be there. And basically this is the same concept. It uses like Assassin's Creed or something as an example, that you could, you could play a version of the game on the go. Right? So basically, I guess, you're playing a game, and, a home console game, just like the VMUs, whatever, or Dreamcast, then you could take this mobile unit with you and, play like a quick mobile style version of the game. Because they know today a lot of people play, mobile style with their phones and everything, and it's kind of like quick play, you know what I'm saying? So I'm sure there'll be some quick play versions of things you could do, maybe earn extra money and stuff like that, continue to contribute to your game, and then when you get home, you can take all that stuff and throw it into your home console game. There's rumors of a Pokemon game coming to NX, so imagine you're playing Pokemon Go on the go, and they said they're going to incorporate mobile stuff into it too with phones and everything. So imagine you're playing Pokemon Go on the go. We get a future update for Pokemon Go. Imagine that. And basically, all that work you're doing out there, you're playing Pokemon Go, you're loving it, you're putting all this time in, you're getting your steps in and everything, you're hatching eggs and all that stuff. But then you could come home and take all that information and put it into your main Pokemon game on NX. This also goes with the rumor that they said that this mobile unit will represent what Pokemon Go does, and people didn't really know what that meant, and but now you can put the puzzle pieces together and say that the mobile unit will let you do Pokemon Go style stuff, meaning that Pokemon Go is not a full-on Pokemon game. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of a quick way of playing, which is great for a lot of getting a lot of people into it. You know, easing them into the Pokemon series. So that goes with that rumor that they said. You know, Pokemon Go will be an indicator of what to expect on NX. It also makes sense that this mobile unit is not a full-on handheld. One, you know, we had that thing come out recently that what the hell was it called? But basically, just like a week ago, people found this tablet with controller attachments. It was exactly what someone said the NX was going to be, you know, but it winds up being this tablet that's been out since like 2015, or the first video was out in 2015 showing this thing off. It was a tablet and you could attach controllers to it, and it was a gaming tablet. That's what people were saying NX was going to be. But this mobile, that thing didn't really match what was going on with all these developers being excited for it, because they wouldn't be excited for something that was that much of a risk again, like Wii U was and stuff like that. And you know, Wii was a big risk, but Wii paid off. Wii U, you know, people say marketing. I think different things happen with the Wii U. I just think that's a whole nother story. But basically, these were big risks, right? Nintendo took another risk with the Wii U, and I don't think third parties would be as excited if it was another huge risk, because they before with the Wii and Wii U, they were kind of saying, yeah, you know, it looks great and stuff, but now they're like, oh yeah, we are fucking excited. You know what I'm saying? Meaning that they have the power they want to work with now, and even companies that really weren't working with Nintendo before now are commenting and saying, yeah, this is like, you know, we're really thinking about it now, because Nintendo's going to make a home console. This is going to be supposedly, from what he said, Boogie, this is going to be a home console, and this piece you could just take with you for mini type games to contribute to your main game. And yeah, it also makes sense that you can't have a home console and then a full on mobile unit with that in the package. You know how expensive that would be? That's what happened with the Wii U. The Wii U was so expensive because even though it was using, you know, last gen technology, a little more powerful, but basically in the same realm as last gen technology, but that Wii U tablet, the Wii U gamepad was, you know, whatever technology they used really bumped up the price. That's why they had to lower the specs of the Wii U, or else it would cost an astronomical price. So to have a system and a full-on mobile unit in there too would be way too expensive. And then even if you split it in half, where like the home console had half the power and the mobile unit had half the power, that would still be, those power developers wouldn't be as excited for it if Nintendo was fooling around like that with these halvesy things again, and lowering the power in certain areas and stuff like that. And besides the fact that this idea is very Nintendo-like, right? And also goes with all the themes that Nintendo is doing now. And everyone's saying that NX is going to be a reboot for Nintendo, meaning they're going to go back to the basics, right? And look what they're doing with the NES Mini. They're showing everybody, Nintendo, now you're playing with power. You know, I made that video a long time ago on that quote that they're using all of a sudden, playing with power. They're using that quote again, and power was a word that they tried to avoid for years with the Wii and Wii U. Now they're using that word. Power was like a blasphemy word for them, and that's what people were kind of like upset about. It's like, you know, they were shunning that word, but now they're using it again. So, you know, they're coming out with the NES Mini, which really shows like old school Nintendo, what Nintendo was made of, what they were all about, right? And they're saying that the rumors are that this is going to be a reboot for Nintendo, meaning like a regular system, right? So another way this is very Nintendo. One of the things about the NES was that after the Atari, they didn't want to market the NES as just as a video game system, because the word video game back then, you know, the video games were starting to crash at a certain point, and the NES is what saved and what made video games and boosted them up to, you know, mainstream status that it is today. So the NES, one of the things that they did, they were like, we don't want to market this just as a video game console, because that word video game is kind of like, you know, we don't want to use that right now, because at that time, like I said, video games were quote unquote crashing, right? So they marketed this thing as a entertainment system. So it just didn't come with the NES video game system. They kind of like made this package and snuck in video games in there, right? So the NES came with like Rob the Robot and all this stuff. It was like Nintendo was a word. Nintendo was like Nintendo, when you said the word Nintendo, it was a thing. When you said, I'm going to go inside and play Nintendo, No one said video games. Nintendo was its own experience. They took the video game concept and added to it. Think of it as like you have a burger and video games were just the burger, the patty, right? And then Nintendo came in and said, "Oh, we're not going to just serve you this piece of meat. We're going to put 2 buns on it. We're going to put the special sauce. We're going to put pickles. We're going to put cheese and all that stuff." And that is the difference between a Nintendo, or back then when you referred to the word Nintendo, that's what Nintendo was. It was this experience. They took video games and made their own thing out of it. Their own way of life. It was weird. So it was great though. So you said I'm going inside to play Nintendo. You didn't say video games because Nintendo was its own thing. So basically now, this matches with everything that's people have been saying about Nintendo rebooting and stuff like that, and also how they're pushing the NES Mini, showing people that this is what Nintendo is made of. So now you're gonna have this Nintendo home console, this regular fucking home console from Nintendo. Wow, thank God. And my God, what if Nintendo makes a regular home console? Oh my God, for guys that didn't grow up with Nintendo being on top, there was nothing like having a Nintendo system where you can get Nintendo games and every other stuff on it. There was just, Nintendo and the Mario character just personify. It's hard to explain, but if you grew up with Nintendo, on top, you understand what it's like to have Nintendo, like being able to have this package that all developers can get in on it, and everyone can make games for it. You can have your Nintendo games, your third-party games. It's really something special. You might have to just experience it. You might just know by seeing it. Who knows? But so you have this regular Nintendo system, but now it also, like in Nintendo style, just like Rob the Robot, and eventually later on, the NES came with the light gun, right? So it was never until later on that, once it got off and running, that the NES just came with just the NES, and plus it always came with a game too back then, so that was a kind of a big thing. Not sure if the older systems did that, but whatever. But the main thing is that Nintendo, in the beginning, the NES always came with something else to to make it not just a burger patty. It was like a whole, Whopper or Big Mac. You know what I mean? It was the Nintendo experience was like. It was an experience, and the NES always came with something that made it more. You know what I mean? So now you're gonna have this. They're pushing old school Nintendo with the NES, and this seems to be from these comments now, and plus adding everything together that has been said in the past. And plus, another thing to mention is that coming from Nintendo's mouth, they always said home console. They never said mobile unit. And even the Ubisoft guy, he said machine. That's another thing I wanted to touch on. The Ubisoft guy said machine. He didn't say device. Machine usually refers to something bigger, right? Device usually refers to something smaller or mobile. So the Ubisoft guy said machine. But anyway, so you're going to have this, what it looks like, you're gonna have this Nintendo home console. Oh my God, like the thought of that, we gotta wrap this up. But the Nintendo home console, and it's gonna come like an NES classic Nintendo style. It's going to come with something extra to make to add to that experience, where it's not just a video game system. It's coming with this thing, like I said, like it came with Rob the Robot, it came with the light gun. You know what I mean? It's going to come with this thing that makes it more. And again, from Boogie's comments, he said that it's a mobile unit you could put in your pocket, and you can play a version of the game. So, like I said, it can't be too expensive. So basically, you're going to get this thing, and you can play basic type stuff, add-on type stuff, where you can, on the go, play this stuff, very mobile-like. You're on the go, you're quick, you want to play mobile, and you could play this stuff on the go. You could come home and bring all your work you did onto your main home console game. And I mean, look what Pokemon Go has done for Pokemon. Now all of a sudden, like, Pokemon pre-orders are like, through the roof again, or something like that. The sales of the older Pokemon games are spiked since the release of Pokemon Go. So you have these mobile they're reaching out to the mobile people. Oh, you want to play mobile style? You know, you like your phones, you like your tablets. Here's a little mobile style, and now we're gonna use that just like we did with Pokemon Go to get you into our main stuff. To hey, you want to play the you know mobile version, and that's it? Okay, fine. But you want to expand on what you're doing? You want to come home and expand on that? You know, I'm talking to mobile people now. Now you have the option. You know what I'm saying? But you know, for the hardcore gamers, now you got you know your Nintendo home console experience, but then you can continue to contribute to your home console experience by taking the mobile unit on the go. I like this. This is what I wanted. I wanted a Nintendo home console. It looks like we're gonna get it, and you know, Boogie is a genuine guy, and he's not a rumor type guy or someone that makes up stuff like that. He's a good guy, and if he's saying something, and plus, like I said, you add on everything Nintendo has actually said from their own mouths, and it looks like this is what NX is going to be. Hopefully, we're going to find out sometime this month in October. But ladies and gentlemen, wow. Oh my God. Like I said, I got to get this out quick. You know, Comic-Con is today, and my God, this is awesome news. I like this news. And, well, ladies and gentlemen, that is it for now. I hope you enjoyed. I hope it's got the imagination juices flowing. And ladies and gentlemen, this is Joey JCM, and I will see you. Oh, yeah. What? I'm so excited if this is true. Later.